This Albion online video is about, is PvE fame getting balanced soon? So I just want to point out a few things, and this mostly has to do with the recent developer update, and it is this video right here, Albion Online Development Update August 2024, and it talks about how they're going to be redoing the black zones, and they're going to add like a tier 6 yellow zone and stuff, and mob fame is going to get readjusted, and there's going to be even more fame in the deeper parts of the black zone and bigger mob camps and stuff. So that's what I'm talking about today. But I do want to go just a little off topic, and have you guys noticed that Robin Hinkes has this knuckle cracking kind of body language in every thumbnail of his just about? So like, just scroll down. There's 1, 2, not this one, 3, 4, look at him, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this keeps going. There's 10. Every single thumbnail with it. Look, he's even doing it here. And if you go way back, like you go to the oldest videos, he doesn't quite do it yet, right? So something happens. Like, see, he's got hands on paper here. He's got a teacup. He was having a good time. Another teacup. Or a cue card, I guess. Open hands in that one, and then it starts with the triangle. Now, I'm a body language expert, and I'll tell you, this pose with the fingers and the thumb, that is a authoritative pose, a position of authority. He knows what he's talking about. He's in charge. And then, okay, we got open hands here, and then the knuckle cracking begins 6 years ago. Now, knuckle cracking in body language is a sign of nervousness and kind of uncertainty. But anyway, on with the video. Now, real quick, let's just get this out of the way because I know people love to argue about this, but the best fame farming in the entire game is soloing tier 4 statics. The reason why it's the best is because static mobs give way too much fame. They have huge mob density. They are very easy to kill, and I know some of you have been discouraged because of the recent patches, because they added mob regeneration. They also nerfed the mob's maximum health a bit. They're actually easier than ever to solo. They made it easier to solo these mobs than before the patch. Believe it or not, even with that regeneration, you can still do these. It is bar none the best and highest fame per hour in the game to an established player. An established player is someone who's been playing for at least 3 months, I would say, who has quite a lot of wealth. They have a lot of fame built up. They have a lot of good and strong gear. In this case, soloing tier 4 and 5 statics requires 8.3 gear. I have proven that a brand new player on Europe, as soon as the server launched, could reach tier 8.3 gear and afford it and wear it and use it within a day and a half. Okay, and I always tell people that, if you play the game for 3 days, you can afford it, you can, be able to equip it, you'll have the fame built up to be able to use the high-level skills and wear, tier 8 equipment. And a lot of people don't believe me, but I have proven that time and time again. And so that is just simply fact. An established player can farm the tier 4 and 5 solos, static areas. Well, they can solo the static areas and make far more than anything else in the game. The next best is obviously like yellow and black zone and red zone, abbeys, roads, open world mobs, stuff like that. Now, these are solo activities. Obviously, the best of the best fame in the game is joining a RMT guild that controls the world bosses, and then you just roll with them and roll world bosses. But that's not something you can do solo, and that's not something that 99.999% of the player population will ever get to do in this game. It's just, there's just, unless you weasel your way into these top guilds, you're not going to be able to do that. So that's unreasonable. And a lot of people will also disagree with me because they haven't quite figured out how to be mature, or they don't have the intelligence or the IQ points to realize that just because something should be a certain way does not mean that it is. So let me explain my reasoning and their reasoning. So we have mathematically proven that tier 4 statics are the best fame in the game through endless trial and error, endless challenges from other streamers, YouTubers, etc. And for an established player, it can't be beat. It has not been beaten in years. Now, why do people believe, and I want to believe this too. Should you be able to travel a few zones away from your town in a safe zone, completely safe with no risk whatsoever, and get the best fame in the game? No, you shouldn't. I don't believe that you should. I have always advocated that statics should be nerfed to the ground, okay? But at the same time, you would think, well, it would make more sense if you go to the black zone in Fame Farm here, that this would be the best fame in the game because it's the most risky, it's the most dangerous, it has the highest level enemies, And yes, it should be that way. It absolutely should. Now, the developer update mentioned that they're going to be changing how open world mobs, interact and work, and the fame gains and all that, but also that the mob zones within the inner circle here, these are the higher level black zones, I guess. I forget what they called it in the video because it's been a while since I watched it. But they say, or they promise rather, that these zones closest to the middle of this circle will be the best fame farm spots with the highest level mobs that give the most fame and are the most challenge and give the most rewards. And so there is an opportunity for that to be true. It's going to take a whole lot of QA testing from, whoever works at Sandbox Interactive or whatever. And it's going to take a whole lot of, spreadsheeting and doing math. But here's what I hope happens, and I'm partially making this video so that maybe it will happen in the future and not just be some crappy patch that gets thrown out and, we get ignored, us PvE players. I would prefer if these zones in the inner circle gave more fame per hour than the tier 4 statics. Now, I'm all for nerfing the fame on the statics, but what that'll do is it'll just unincentivize groups from ever doing them. They will just become completely barren, dead, empty zones that no one ever goes to for no reason, other than maybe bots or something, which they promise to get rid of bots and the radar hackers and cheaters too, which would be really nice, but I'm not counting on that. That's like a never-ending fight. You just have to hire really dedicated people to manually take care of that until it's too much trouble for the botters to be worth. That's the only way you're going to get rid of the bots. But these zones are promised in, the next big update to be the best fame farm in the game. So, as an established player or even as a new player, let's talk about new players for a sec. New players obviously can't go to a static and solo them. They don't have the gear, they don't have the fame, they'll just get turned into mulch, okay? That's fair. Now, at the same time, a brand new player in flat 4 or 4.1 gear, regardless if they're a nature staff user or not, should also not be able to go to the very final levels of the black zone and solo bosses. Alright, so, but if they could, I would still be okay with that. I would still be absolutely fine with that. But, at the same time, it's like, in that regard, should they earn more fame than someone soloing static mobs that is meant for groups of players? Now, here's another fear, too. In that same developer update, they mentioned that they're going to be adding Tier 6 yellow zones. So right now, if you're unaware or if you forgot, Tier 5 is the highest level a yellow zone goes. But if you can start going to Tier 6 zones that are now yellow zones, that means you can farm Tier 6 resources. That means there is a potential for Tier 6 static zones to be farmable. Hopefully the Morgana stuff, because I'm getting sick of killing undeads and the other types, and the Earth Keepers or whatever they're called. But maybe we will get Morgana static dungeons. Now, who's to say that the Tier 6 static dungeons don't suddenly become the best safe fame farm in the game? They might. They might not. It's all up to SBI. It's all up to Sandbox Interactive. We'll see what they do with it. But me personally, I'm a well-established and wealthy player. I don't really need to fame farm anymore. Everything that I want to play is maxed out, and if I want to max something else out, I can just buy famed homes, or I can just grind in a static. I'm fine, right? I even have like 63 million combat fame credits just sitting around doing nothing. I have billions of silver I can convert into fame if I want through, famed homes. But not everyone is that wealthy. Not everyone has been playing for the past 7 to 8 years. Not everyone is that dedicated to the game, and that's fine. And so what I do believe that should be the case, as is any game, you should get the best fame in the game, in the highest leveled, hardest zones in the game, and hopefully guilds don't gatekeep these too hard, or they make it easier for players to travel to these. Because right now, if I'm locked in Bridgewatch, which I usually am, how many zones away is this? This is like 1, 2, and this may not be the optimal path, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 to 11 zones away to get to the inner circle here. And if it takes me 2 minutes per trip and I don't die, that's about, we'll say 20 minutes to arrive here. 20 minutes to arrive here, only to farm for 10 minutes before a guild or a clan or a Zerg just mows me down and ganks me and sends me back to the portal zone. I hope that's not the case. And yes, there's roads, you could travel between the roads, but most players don't have roads mapped. They don't join discords with roads mapped. They don't use cheats that map the roads for them. They don't pay Chinese RMTers to map the roads for them, okay? Regular players like you and me don't give a shit. We don't care. We go into a road and see where it takes us, if we even bother, because there's really not a reason for a safe player to use roads ever for any reason. But, you know, with all these nerfs lately, they have been constantly nerfing things. They've nerfed the roads, they've nerfed chest loot, so many things, even weapons, PvP, like, builds and whatnot. And it's made the game severely unfun. So here's hoping that this big patch, they fix the fame allocation to the point where the best fame farm actually is in the black zone, and it is in this inner circle, and if you're farming anywhere else, it's still good, but it needs to be better than what we have. So either they nerf statics, or they make these inner black zone circles give so much fame that it's like at least double or even triple that of soloing statics. Why should they double or triple it, you may ask? And that's simple. Well, because these static zones are a safe zone with zero risk, and I could watch anime and YouTube and streams and not give a damn about my surroundings. Doubling the number would not incentivize me to spend 20 minutes of travel time with a set that's probably going to cost me 300k silver, you know, and the potential to lose it all to gankers. That doubling the amount of fame would not be enough to get me out there. It would have to be at least triple or more. I would say quadruple. So 100 million fame per hour if you make it to those. But at the same time, 100 million fame per hour is also about the amount that the World Zone boss farmers can make. And you're not really going to top those guys because, I mean, at the end of the day, working as a team and being in a big guild that kills the literal hardest monsters in the entire game, aka these things, you know, they would be pissed if you could just go solo a bunch of enemies, you know, in these zones, which would be much safer, less riskier, and less organized. I don't know. I'm just making this video to see, what do you guys think? Should they nerf statics? I would say, yeah, it's a little too good. It's been too good. I mean, you know, I got my farm in. I don't need it anymore, but at the same time, it's like they're going to release a patch, and everyone's going to go to these inner circled black zones thinking that the fame's going to be good, and it's going to be like 6 or 7 million an hour. And it's like, well, I can just make 20 million an hour in a static. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you so much. Mwah. I know I haven't been making a lot of Albion stuff lately. It's because it doesn't pay the bills, and I'm getting real close to not being able to afford anything anymore due to PAX Day sucking and Star Wars Outlaws sucking, and every game just sucks that comes out. Isn't that funny? And then every game that's been out just gets worse. Like this one. Like, the numbers are on a slump, dude. Like, I was checking Twitch the other day for English streamers, and besides all the AFK, you know, like, rerun channels that just show a mammoth humping a lamppost in the city, like, the only person that had an actual view count, like, the highest English viewer view count, was someone who has been banned from getting drops, which is funny to me. So all the bot droppers, the AFK streamers, were watching the AFK on a mammoth streams, and the only real people watching were like the 70-something, like 70 viewers for an MMORPG. That's dead game territory, guys. The server splits ruined the populations, it ruined the fun, and this game is mostly on life support right now, but hopefully it gets better. And, you know, I've been monitoring Albion Online's ads, because you can actually go to a website and check when ads are running for the game. And unfortunately, in the western areas of the world, they're just running the most basic ads. But in China, they are dumping so much ads into Asia. It's crazy. But maybe I'll make a video about that some other time. It's really interesting stuff. Anyway, that's all I've got. Sorry to waste your time or whatever, but what do you guys think? You got to let me know in the comments. I want you guys talking about this in the comments, okay? So let me know what you think. I personally think the black zones should have the best fame farm in the game. It should have the best fame per hour in the game. But that is simply not the case, and anyone that says otherwise, prove it. Prove it, dude. No one else has been able to prove it, so maybe you'll be the first. Anyway, that's all I got. See you later. Mwah. Click the video on the right side of your screen, and if you don't, you're going to let one of your toenails grow really long, and then it's going to break on the edges and form like a weird point.